Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I am a bad, terrible, evil person.
And why do you say so?
Fred and Anita were planning on getting married before the end of this year. She always believed he loved her, and I thought so too. And that's why I tried to exterminate my own feelings for him. Feelings for my best friend's man. Feelings that I have had for him since we attended the same church society as teenagers. He had disappeared for a while when he and his family moved out. But running into him again years later at my cousin's wedding, which Anita and I attended, untamed those burning desires I had nurtured for him for years. He and Anita hit it off almost immediately, and that kept me at bay. Anytime I thought about Fred, I'd have sex with my boyfriend, in an attempt to move on from the forbidden passion with Fred. Things began to change when Fred moved back to our community because of his new job. He was back and ever so committed to our church society. Soon, Fred and I started going for group tasks together, where we helped clean the environment, control traffic, wash public toilets, and other things. On one fateful day after evening service, the sky was getting gloomy and the weather windy. We had already bided our goodbyes, when I asked him if he'd be able to get back to his house on time on foot before the rain poured. I went ahead to invite him over to my house, since it was just a few blocks away from the church, and he accepted. When we got to the gate of my house, the power had gone out. We managed to get indoors before the rain came pouring. The fuel situation in the country was a mess, and there was no means of having power anytime soon. I got my camp torchlight and placed it on my reading table to give us some light. Fred informed me that he had already planned a date with Anita by 9 p.m. and that he'd have to leave latest by 8 p.m. even if it meant him getting drenched. I smiled and told him I admired his love for Anita. I stood up from the foot of the bed of my self-contained room and went to the kitchen to put some water on boil for myself to have my bath and cook some noodles. We talked about how our church was as teenagers and how different it felt now as grown adults. He reminded me about how we had vowed to remain chaste till marriage as teenagers and laughed so loud. I only smiled and stared into his light brown eyes, which shone through the reflection of the light. I went and checked on the water. He was surprised I was having my bath that early, when he saw me pouring the hot water into my bucket. I dropped the kettle back on the stove, after confirming the remaining water would be enough for the Indomie. I smiled and got out my nightie from my wardrobe, which I spread over my bed. Since everywhere was already dark, but for the little torchlight, I took excuse from Fred to turn it off so that I could undress. He didn't mind, so I turned it off and took off my clothes one by one, starting from my shirt to my bra, my skirt, and then my panties. I walked over to my wardrobe and I tried grabbing my towel when the lights suddenly came back on. I was stark naked, right in front of Fred. My bare buttocks was turned towards him as I quickly tried to use my hands to hold my buttocks. Fred excused himself in a flash and ran into the kitchen. I grabbed my towel and covered myself as I apologized for my lack of sense. Fred only muttered something I could not hear from the kitchen. I went into the bathroom and started pouring the water over my body. The thought of Fred seeing my buttocks filled my head. I thought about how insane it was. I thought about how much my body ached to feel his touch. I thought about how much this was a betrayal to my friend. I was thinking, when the lights went off again, it felt as though the gods were testing me. I had gone without the torchlight, since I wasn't expecting power to go off so soon, after they had just brought it. I was trying to quickly pour the water on my body, and get out, even in the dark, when I felt a presence grab me by my waist and push my buttocks towards a hard feel. I swallowed hard and tried to speak. Fred asked me if I wanted him to stop, as he whispered in my ear, while using his two hands to grab my breasts from behind and start rubbing my nipples. I let out a soft moan as I turned to face him and kiss him. We had a quickie in the bathroom, after which we washed our bodies from all the sin. We did it again on my bed. It was a very passionate encounter, so I remembered that he had to meet Anita by 9 p.m., and it was already 20 minutes gone from the hour. I woke him urgently and demanded he leave immediately. The rain still hadn't ceased, but I was already feeling so guilty to look at him. Father, Fred is dead. Fred had a car accident on his way from my house. Anita has been crying uncontrollably. I can't comfort her. I can't take this, Father. It's all my fault. I can never forgive myself.